Josh Snow talking about three of the deeper curl routes, three of the deeper out combinations that the Shanahan offense is running. So I kind of put these in like the space chaser, right? Try my copy from one of the guys at UNC, a space chaser category, right? Because it's kind of like that intermediate range. Like you have a ton of 10 to 12 yard routes, you have a lot of vertical routes. These three concepts I'm about to go over kind of push that corner into that weird zone, right? Where you're thinking they're running vertical and they break off an 18-yard curl, a 20-yard dig, something like that, right? So you can obviously change these all for a high school quarterback. I'm not asking a high school quarterback to throw a 20-yard curl very often or a 25-yard speed out like we're about to go over. But just kind of thinking that, like, what is that weird range where I can push maybe a deeper out from the Bryles world? I can have them stop at 18 yards or 15 yards, not the normal 10 to 12 yard snap down. So the good thing about all three of these I'm about to go over is we can kind of just ignore all these rankings on the side. It's really about soft corner coverage, or even soft zone coverage, right? Because you can get away with some of these in cloud. So soft zone coverages, right? Any sort of tight, matchy coverages, these plays all kind of suck. I took those out, but just trust me, obviously running an 18-yard curl against tight quarters or brackets or man is not going to work very often. So we went all three of these against zone coverages. I would choose one of the three, and I'll kind of take you through the pros and cons of each. The last one being my personal favorite. So look at this first one. As always, these are my own words. Ignore the words, but BOA being double curls. So it's any sort of one-by-one receiver formation, right? You got tight ends on the same side, fullback, whatever. But one-by-one, they're mirrored routes. They're both running 18-yard curls. And the QB is, you can go boundary to field, field boundary, X to Z, however you want. But he's straight progressing from one side to the other. Protection-wise, you'll have some sort of like double flat element to kind of read through. So small sample size, so I didn't go through all the routes because it didn't really matter with only 9 plays, but you can see it's decently scored on this one. So going to the next one, similar type concept, right? You can get away with this one in cloud because you end up getting, let's say, some sort of, high-low smash concept here. But it's the same thing. These guys are running what I call otters for a deep out at 25 yards. Obviously in high school, you probably want to break that thing at 20 at the most, maybe 18, 15, depending on who that kid is for you. But so the single, or the guy at the boundary, right? The guy at the boundary will run the deep out, and opposite it, typically they're running a deep dig. The ball never, ever, ever goes there, as we can see by the numbers. Okay, it's even less if you run the dig. So I had it on a big curl. Still, the ball is probably not getting back there because that's a hell of a progression for the Q to come back to that big curl. So we're going 1 to 2. This one's the most popular. It has pretty good numbers looking up top. Right, 10 yards of play, efficient, decently explosive, all that kind of stuff. But it's the same thought process. Game plan wise, we do not like this against any sort of tight coverage, brackets, man free, that sort of thing. So the last one, my personal favorite, is the same thing, but we're just putting the curl on the same side as the deep out route. The reason I like this is that's easier for the quarterback to keep his vision all on one side and not have to scan all the way back through. Like this one too, for motion purposes, anything we can do to promote softer coverages, full speed motions to this play is going to be good, tight formations that are going to help. Anything we can do to loosen up and get them out of any sort of tight matchy coverages. Okay, this one's not run as much, but just looking at it and common sense wise, this one's probably my favorite of the three. So, looking at the video, starting first with that BOA play, okay, the double deep curls, what we're doing is through formations or through motions or whatever, through protections, we're creating 2 flat elements, right? We have 2 deep curl flats at the end of the day. Now you can read it however you want, field boundary, boundary field, Z to X, however. It doesn't matter, but you can kind of get creative with the protections as long as you get 2 flat elements out, okay? We're going deep curl to deep curl. So obviously he starts down here, doesn't like it, scans the up top deep curl, for whatever reason doesn't trigger it, gets the ball out to the flat, okay? If I have Christian McCaffrey, I'm probably getting the ball out there pretty quickly myself. So you can see obviously they can it, they're trying to get to the zone play. We'll never know what the original call was, okay, but it's probably some sort of tight coverage, run or throw. I'm gonna buzz through these all pretty quickly. Okay, here's one against Cloud from a couple years ago. This play is obviously better if you have some sort of burners, right, to push that deep coverage deep, right, and then curl back in front of them. Against Cloud, those guys will just kind of find that little curl space, playing off the hook defenders. RIP to Lovie Smith's defense, but he has a hook defender playing man on this guy coming all the way back across. Okay, we see the open window created. So don't like this as much against Cloud, right? Because you'll be running potentially back into those hook guys. You're just hoping you can kind of find that intermediate space to attack. Looking at the OG Rams, okay, a couple years back, obviously. They're on the dig opposite. The big curl, not as good, right? As we talked about, the ball never gets there. Okay, but the curl route, it's all about, can you just beat your corner? Can you beat the corner, and then hopefully the flat element will take out the flat cover defender, and you'll just open up that little zone. Obviously, pretty good cover 3 play is where you want it, but there are better cover 3 plays, right? If I know if I'm potentially calling a play just to target cover 3, I'm going to some sort of flood, something a little bit more explosive than this, or even a different space chaser that we'll go over. So I do like this one for the distribution of getting 2 flat elements and an over the ball element as a check down. You can also see here kind of the cover 4 issues, right? So you have 2 different type of safety play here, right? It depends how hard they drive the curl. So down here, the safety drives the curl pretty hard. Up top, he's pretty soft, maybe some sort of cloudish type coverage, okay? So you can just kind of see against Cloud, you have to see how hard they get to drive that curl when you're game playing it, if this is something you want to get into. But I like this from a distribution standpoint and the passing attack, kind of getting double flats with an over the ball check down. Going to the otters, the deep out, this is purely about kind of same thing, kind of push that corner off the ball, kind of get him threatened with a kind of like the deeper type route, and then kind of break that route off, right? 20 to 25 yards. Here they got the dig opposite. Once again, the dig never gets hit. You're basically going out to the flat coming to him. They lose the flat in protection here, obviously, but that's the intention. Okay, even if you're not tight splits, I think there's a world for this. You're obviously not going to run a speed out from like a Bryles type split, but that guy you can run like an 18-yard stop. Okay, just something to where like the corner is used to thinking, all right, as long as the receiver's past 12, he's vertical or he's posting, right? As soon as you like kind of rule break that thing and break off a route at 18 and 20, you create some easier explosives potentially, depending on how fast you are and how much that corner kind of fears your receivers. I'm gonna skip this one. So I like this one. Shows against Cloud. Okay, I think you end up getting the tight ends out. Okay, so same thing. You get the double flats. Protection wise, you get the over the ball, and your speed out ends up becoming de facto smash. Okay, with a flat element underneath it. Right, so not something we plan for. Like, we're not getting super excited if we see Cloud, but we can manage it. We can throw smash, as a decent play. Prefer that thing to be a soft corner coverage, obviously, but we'll take it. We don't need to check out if we see Cloud. I like this one. Okay, this is something similar to what OU hit Georgia on in the Rose Bowl from 2018. Right, so imagine like duo or counter here, something where the corner feels like, oh shit, I'm in the fit, right? And now instead of running the deep out, as soon as you get within the red zone striking range, you're running a back corner pylon type route, right? So you want to get that corner to trigger, even if you want to like flea flicker this thing and really get that corner in it. And now you're going over the top. The poor throw, late throw, great job, great makeup speed, ends up being incomplete. Right, we kind of see the intention of what we're doing. Okay, it's kind of like a little pop-ish type play if you apply it in this sort of way down here. Here's one from this season. Jefferson down here at the bottom. Same thing. Can you just win one-on-one in that corner? Kind of push that corner off through tight stuff. Kind of push them off the ball enough to go win the race to the sideline at 20 yards. Or wherever you put that depth at. It's not rocket science here, right? There's not a whole lot of zone manipulations, anything like that. You just got to call it against the right coverages, understand where we want it, okay, and then go win there. So this is my favorite version. Okay, similar, but instead of the second look being on the opposite side of the field, now the quarterback can just stay on the same side. Also like this because you can create motion to really get that corner in a hard situation, okay? Running against man, but that corner has to track your best receiver, hopefully, across the field. You're creating stack, full speed motion, CFL style. And now from this spot, you can run a dagger, you can run a deep ball like a post, or you can break the speed out. Like that's a hard down for the corner. If he somehow covers it, or they're in some sort of coverage where they cover it and pass it, then you're hitting the curl as your second look to your back. Also, you can really firm up protection here and go nub with a fullback come across like here. Okay, which I really enjoy, right? Because the ball's staying on one half of the field. I don't have to manipulate the other half at all. I can kill that side. And QB, you stay here. We're going out to curl to flat. Right, anything we can do that same thing here. Okay, same type of idea. We're running against a two-man, okay, the worst case scenario, but because of the motion, the stack, the full speed, we're creating separation. Right, so I think this is a worthwhile play in copying. Of the three of them, this is the one that makes sense. Right, you're just creating little advantages. And then from this look, you throw dagger or whatever, same motion, same everything. And that poor guy's running with it, trying to track your guy across the field. So last one, OG one going back. Okay, same thing, we get soft zone coverage, boom, bang the out to the flat. So here they're running more like the attack style curl. Doesn't matter. Getting that curl window at 15, you're our second look. You can probably tempo it a little bit if you just want to run a straight curl, which I would. This attack route is like super difficult to teach for getting basically nothing out of it. Just run a 15-yard curl, call it a day. QB wise, out to curl to flat, right? We're creating a little triangle there. All right, so that's that. It's not rocket science. Cage attack, soft zone coverages, and you can call it a day there.